Doctor Who, Criss Cross.
Agent Spark reporting. Goods have been picked up. Division 709 compromised. More information to follow.
This is simply not good enough. I need to lay down some ground rules, sir.
I'll be right with you, Miss,
Mrs Clarke. Constance Clarke, leading WREN at Manor House.
Doctor? Dr. Smith, I've another communication from Agent Spark.
Excellent work, young lady.
Dr. John Smith. No credentials. His identity evaporates as soon as one examines it too closely. The man's a spy.
Now, this ship, my ship, has been disabled ever since I arrived on your planet. Completely and utterly disabled. Every system, every readout.
These are the coordinates. We will descend to a depth of 300 feet.
Yes, sir. And then?
Then we wait.
I have some good news and some bad news, Mrs. Clarke. Those explosives all seem to be wired up to a timing device, and I just found it.
And the good news?
That was the good news.
Hello and welcome YouTubers and Doctor Who fanatics to another Big Finish audio review. And today I'll be taking a look at Criss Cross by Matt Fitton, and this monthly range release came out in the same month as To the Sontarans, September 2015, which stars Colin Baker as the Sixth Doctor and Miranda Rayson as Constance, and it is quite a special release from the monthly range as it shows how Constance joined the TARDIS with the Sixth Doctor. So if you want to go straight to my review of Criss Cross and don't want to see how this audio is showcased, then there is the time on the bottom of the screen to the review. If you have or haven't skipped, let's begin the video. For the front cover art, we have the Sixth Doctor at front in the middle, with a very snazzy suit, I must say, with Agent Spark on the left and Constance Clarke on the right. We have the Union Jack in the background. We have something by there, but I can't really indicate what it actually is. But yeah, I don't really know what it is. We have the Golden Egg by there, with Bletchley down by there. There's some nice wave pattern effects around, with cipher or chipper text up there. And also it interferes with this as well, which I quite like. And we got the standard stuff like Brand New Adventures, full cast audio drama, with the Big Finish logo, the audio adventures of Doctor Who. And for the side of the release we have the Sixth Doctor picture by there, Doctor Who, Criss Cross, 204 with the Big Finish logo. And for the back it is directed by Ken Bedley. We have the bio on the story, which I'll place in the description, with the cast and who played the characters. And there's 120 minutes approx with behind the scenes of the story. I didn't hear the trailer on this from Planet of the Ronnie. Maybe it was after behind the scenes, but it wasn't before it. So I'm not too sure about that. It might have just been after the behind the scenes, I must have missed it. And so when we open up the CD case, we are presented with the leaflet and the disc, and I too love looking at this gorgeous cover. And we have part 1 and part 2, part 3 and part 4, and we have advertisements for other Sixth Doctor stories, such as Scavenger, Breaking Bubbles, the anthology release, the Sixth Doctor and Perry trilogy, the most recent one from 2014, and last the Cybermen, but yeah, let's get out of the way. And for the leaflet, if we open it up, we have the next installment, which is Planet of the Run, which I'm quite looking forward to. And then we got Doctor Who magazine and production credits. And with two variations of the cover, we got the standard one and the Sixth Doctor variation with the different logo and the text. Now to my review of Criss Cross by Matt Fitton. Now I have to say, Matt Fitton's really been on a roll with his stories. Ever since Stage Fright, he's been doing some fab stories. And I had full faith that he would pull this one off. Yeah, in the past we had things like Deathmatch were a little bit mediocre, but ever since Stage Fright and onwards, he's been doing very well with his stories. You always say there's always room for improvement. And yeah, if you can tell from the story, it's set during the Second World War and it's a favourite piece of history. So to the opening summary of Criss Cross, it starts off with Dr. Smith, or the Doctor, playing a very leader approach, as the Sixth Doctor always likes. He loves leadership, with these code breakers to try and encrypt or crack these cipher text or chipper text, whichever word you prefer, which essentially means text which is hidden and you need to decrypt it to understand and collect the original text. And yeah, it's got a really fast-paced feel, the summary, the opening summary to it, because the Doctor's in quite a bit of rush, as these people, the spycatchers, don't really trust the Doctor and find him a German spy. And yeah, the Doctor doesn't really belong in this time. And yeah, the encryption has to be done as fast as possible. It's got a very nice opening summary, this story. It feels like the plot's going to be really quick, full of energy. And then later down the line, this is where we're going to get the unearthly villains into the equation of the story. So now is a little look at the summary. Now to my in-depth review, part 1 to part 4, then characters and performances, and then overall verdict. So let's begin my in-depth review. I love how the Doctor is immediately introduced into the story, as he acts like the ringleader. And yeah, the 6th Doctor has always been a Doctor with leadership, very brash. Yeah, he's playing ringleader with the code breakers. And I also like it with Constance, because, you know, Constance is another person who has leadership, because she is the lead in WREN, so she has to be quite strict, quite brash as well. But I'll get into Constance a little bit later, because there's softer sides to Constance, which I really love. And she isn't very happy with this Dr. Smith at all, as the Doctor told Wimpole, or any other code breakers, to work as fast as possible, as we know that the Doctor's in a big rush to leave as soon as possible. And I love the start of it with the Doctor and Constance does have some really great interactions of being the big boss, with Constance using a bit of hostility and the Doctor trying to defend his leadership a little bit. I just love the nice interactions, it's great. And you could tell that these two are just going to get along so well, because yeah, they have a lot of similarities, they do have their differences, but yeah, you could just see them, they're going to work so well together. Even though at the first time it didn't go so well, with Constance defending one of her Wrens, which is Wimpole, that she was working over the top to encrypt the codes. Yeah, Agent Spark, which is this character right by here, I'm going to be very quiet with him. I'll just knock my light. Yeah, I'm going to be very quiet with him, as he's a character you should find out his motives for yourself. Yeah, he becomes a big thing in this story, so with some interesting twists and turns. And also Matt Fincher did pick a really good time for the 6th Doctor, for a 6th Doctor story, as mostly all these characters love power and love to be the big boss of everyone, like Major Harris, Constance, Agent Spark and the Doctor, and I was just thinking, and another character, I've got to turn it around because I forgot his name, and Dr. Swatsman, probably saying that wrong, I apologise. They all love leadership power, and I was just thinking we're going to have some great interactions and dialogue between each other, and it's going to be a big joy to listen to. And yeah, this is the time of World War II, the turning test with Bletchley Park, which is right down there, which is being the Codebreakers Centre, which they perform codebreaking, of course. Yeah, Matt Fitton really did his research, and yeah, I'm a fan of encryption of computer codes, as it's a big theme of the IT world. And also with the history as well, like the turning tests in World War II. I'd say for the characters, Major Harris starts off to be the villain of the story, like, you know, he thinks that the Doctor is a spy, he needs to be hunted down by the spycatchers. It takes more of a pure historical World War II theme, but also got some great mystery tied into it. Yeah, which works really great. Yeah, the first half and the second half are very much different from each other, and you can tell that from the bio of the story, as it says, unearthly forces stir. Yeah, the story gets quite divided now, with the Doctor, Constance and Wimpole escaping from the spycatchers, and quickly, yeah, quite quickly, the Doctor and Constance really get along very well, and put both their leadership skills and their minds together as one, and they act together as equals, and I really like that. They don't interject each other. Constance at times can be, you know, strict, but that's just the native of her character. But they don't try to push each other over the top. Constance don't want to be the leader of the Doctor or anything like that. They just treat each other like equals, so really nice stuff with the writing. And yeah, it does show the threat of the story, this waveform, quite quickly. A bit too quickly, I would say. This is before the cliffhanger. But yeah, part 1, it flows very nicely. It's got a nice vibe of World War II, with big leadership, powerful characters, code breaking, an unearthly threat being builded up. The waveform introduced a bit too quick. Doing an early part 2 and I think it would have been perfect. But that's my personal opinion. It doesn't affect the score, it doesn't. So then part 2, Criss Cross, it does have some great energy in it. It's got nice, I wouldn't say it's fast paced, but it's just got some nice flowing mystery in it, which keeps you guessing. It doesn't have bang so much energy in it. Nothing like that. It takes it slow. But yeah, I would say it works. It takes more time for the mystery to just get revealed, so it has a bit of suspense to it. So Yeah, I like how Matt Fitton structured the story and the pacing and how it flowed. Standard storytelling, but yet very enjoyable so far. We do have some interesting things like the character Dr. Schwartzman and the radio equipment, the German character. It's a bit of a talky story, this one is. It's got a lot of dialogue in it, not too much action. As you think it should have action because it's a World War II story. It hasn't got loads of action in it. It's quite a heavy dialogue story for the first half. Yeah, it's got a bit of mystery at the first half, but also it feels a bit of a chasing part with part 1 and part 2, as the spycatchers are still after the Doctor. That's still happening. The plot as of yet is still not really moving forward, or adding anything just yet. The mystery thing's still going on, and running away from the spycatchers. I like with each part we get a little bit more of Agent Spark, which I do like. You're not just throwing everything at the end, or everything too early. Just do little bits of each part and then get the full picture at the end. So like how Matt Fitton used Agent Spark. Nothing major as of yet, we get some little things about this golden egg, which is there on the front cover. And also I noticed a nice little, well, I don't think it's nice because I don't like the story. It's got a continuity reference to Victory of the Daleks, as Major Harris says that Churchill will be very interested in the TARDIS machine. And yeah, Churchill was interested in the TARDIS in Victory of the Daleks. So yeah, if you like Victory of the Daleks, then you probably like that little continuity reference. I don't care about it because I don't like the story, but yeah, it'd be nice for some people that it's been thrown in there. Oh yeah, the soundtrack is brilliant. It's by Steve Foxon, who's done some fantastic soundtracks. I think he did Curse of Davros, The Triumph of Sutekh. I still wish they released that soundtrack, but unfortunately not. Maybe Steve Foxon will release it on his SoundCloud or something, but fantastic music. Because I always like listening to the music and put it in a individual playlist and just listen to the music. It's great. Yeah, part 2 focuses more on these radio waves for the second half, with the foe sort of looking a bit like the Vardan from the first wave, and the Vardan are really good in the first wave. And now when part 2 ends, this is where the story is really going to change. Yeah, the first half takes a mystery approach, then part 3 and part 4 it's like a traditional Doctor Who story with an alien monster. So then part 3 we have the Doctor and Constance's friendship seems to getting along really well now. It's very strong, as Constance being a very brave person not to leave any of her Wrens behind or the Doctor behind. And it does get divided, and you have some nice little subplots of each of the characters doing their own things. And yeah, Matt Fitton really did well with the characters. They all do little bits of the story, and I just think it's really well done. Yeah, it's divided up very well with all the characters, with the Doctor doing one thing and now Constance with another character. And we see, as I said, a softer side to Constance's character as she talks about her husband. As even though she's quite a strict person, you have to be strict if you're a leader of the WREN. But yet she still has a soft, loving side, and that's absolutely perfect. Yeah, the waveform is an interesting monster when it manifests into its form. It's quite a good monster, but really matches the tone of this story because you've got things like transmission, radio frequencies, ciphertexts and encryption codes. The waveform just match it so well. And also got another twist with the waveform as well. It's got so many twists and turns, it's great. Yeah, part 3 is again really, really good. Now part 4. Now this is where characters who don't really like each other interact with each other, such as Major Harris and Schwartzman have to team up. It's a bit similar to what happens in The Curse of Fenric, I'd say a little bit. And they have to face and target the actual foe of the story. Yeah, Constance goes a little bit indignant and brash, but I still find it funny as Major Harris only asked for a cup of tea, as the Doctor's plan was in effect, and he said everyone has to wait until it happens. So yeah, this story becomes a very nice character drama, something like this: the enemy of my enemy is my friend, with Schwartzman talking about his family to Constance Clarke. So that's quite fun, that is. And now Spark really gets heavy into the equation with the story's plot. And now this is where the coding becomes a big thing in the story. If you love computer IT coding and all that snazzy stuff, then you should love part 4, as it talks about it so much, like booleans, integers, cache, ciphers and encryptions. You should love all that. Yeah, part 4 is fantastic in my opinion. It really picks up the story with Huge amount of energy, great music, drama. So yeah, well done Matt Fitton. You did pick up the score a bit with part 4. So characters and performances, we have the Doctor really getting into the story, playing a very leadership, big boss role, which the 6th Doctor is always very good at, so well done to Colin Baker. Constance, her debut story, and she's brilliant. You can really fall in love with this character with some nice interactions with the Doctor. She can put herself into harm's way for others, such as her Wrens and the Doctor as well. And I cannot wait to hear these two again for more stories. Now for supporting characters, we have Spark, which is Paul Thornley. And as I said, I'm not going into him, but great performance. He's got a very funny side to his character, yeah, he's got a very power-hungry side to his character. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about Spark. Anyway, next character, who is my favourite supporting character? I just like this character. Major Harris, which is Alistair Petrie. He played like a sort of a villain during the first half of the story where he was chasing the Doctor and calling him a spy. Yeah, a very fun character and played a different role in the second half. Next one is Hugh Fraser's character, which is Dr. Schwartzman. Another good character, some great interactions. He played quite a nice part of the story during the first half. And also with the final part where I said, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's what sort of dialogue we get. Next character we have Wimpole Charlotte Salt, also voiced the Waveform. Wimpole was a nice character, nothing huge, and voiced the Waveform as well, which was quite good. And Robbie Stephen, who voiced many distant characters who didn't do too much, like the Captain, and another threat in the story, a very versatile voice actor just like John Banks. So, what is my final verdict on Criss Cross? Well, it really does push Terror of the Sontarans right out the window. This is a magnificent story by Matt Fitton. Well done to him, he did great with the story. A great setting in World War II, good old 60s, brilliant, and a new companion, which is Constance Clarke. Very well researched, I gotta say, very well researched by Matt Fitton. You should love this one, and I would recommend this one absolutely. Even if you're starting Big Finish, this will be a great start. And part 4 is fantastic and really picks up the story for an 8 out of 10 to an 8.5. But I'm also thinking a 9. Maybe a third listen might confirm that rating, but I really don't know which one to go. So then, thank you for watching my review of Criss Cross. And if you want to see more snazzy Big Finish, I have a huge amount coming in the future. Plus some interesting information of big videos coming at the end of 2015. And that information will come up in an update video. So subscribe for more snazzy Big Finish content if you desire. So I will see you in the next one for Jago and Lightfoot Series 1. Have a cracking day and goodbye.